Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. Today pag-uusapan natin yung classical conditioning, isa sa mga topics na madalas naririnig natin na pag-uusapan sa iba-ibang mga subjects, especially sa psychology. Okay, so today, my objective is to talk about classical conditioning and hopefully, after this video, maintindihan niyo yung basics niya, yung assumptions niya, at kung paano natin siya pwedeng i-apply in understanding human behavior. Alright? Sige, let's begin. First, let's define classical conditioning. So, it's a form of associative learning in which a neutral stimulus becomes associated with a stimulus to which one has an automatic inborn response. Okay? Let's put emphasis on the word associative. Gumagamit tayo dito ng association or ng pairing in order for classical conditioning to work. In other words, kailangan hindi lang isang stimulus ipapakita mo, pero meron siyang partner or kasabay in order for it to work. Okay, pinagsasabay mo yung presentation nila. Okay, and doon nangyayari yung learning. Kapag nagkaroon ng sabay na presentation at nag-elicit siya ng response. Okay, continuing sa definition, a neutral stimulus becomes associated with a stimulus to which one has an automatic inborn response. So, para mag-work to, yung isa dyan, yung isang stimulus na ipapresent natin, it should elicit an automatic inborn response. Something na hindi tinuro sa'yo, but rather something na natural. Okay? Later on, we will have an example. While the other one is neutral. Originally, hindi siya mag-elicit ng kahit anong response. But because of the fact na sabay siyang pinresent, okay, with the other stimulus, yung nagpo-produce ng natural response, ang nangyari na pag-pair mo sila. So that's the main idea. Okay? Pavlov, okay, Ivan Pavlov, the proponent of classical conditioning, okay, notice sa kanyang experiment that the dogs began to salivate even before the meat powder was presented. Okay? Most accounts would say na gumamit daw siya ng bell. Some other accounts would say na mali daw yung documentation na ito. Rather, it was a buzzer. Pero mas madalas natin nakikita sa mga libro yung bell. Okay? So, bell man yan or buzzer. Okay? Na-notice ni Pavlov that whenever he rings the bell, okay, naglalaway yung mga aso. Even in the absence of the meat powder. Right? Naturally, nagre-respond sila dun sa meat. Okay, or in this version, the meat powder. But he noticed that kahit mag-bell lang siya, kahit wala yung meat, okay, nagpapakita na ng response yung mga dogs. So, dito natin nakikita, no, yung classical conditioning at work. Okay, so himay-himayin natin yan, right? But before that, let's define the different terms na ginagamit sa classical conditioning. Okay, dito madalas maraming nalilito, so listen to me carefully as I explain, okay, kung ano yung pinagkaiba nila sa isa't isa. So first, we have here the unconditioned stimulus, or the UCS. I will refer to it as the UCS. It is the stimulus that produces the unlearned, the involuntary, the inborn, the natural response. It is any change in the environment. It can be an object, can be a food, no, that produces a natural response. Pag sinabi naman nating unconditioned response, that is your response to the stimulus. Okay? For example, pwedeng ikaw ay you feel parang nahihilo, kaya naman you feel discomfort, o kaya you feel, in this case, yung aso, no, nagsalivate siya. So that is the response to the meat. Okay? Yun yung kanyang response. The word unconditioned means hindi yan tinuro, natural yan. Okay? So naturally, the UCS will elicit the UCR. The presence of the meat will elicit the salivation response. Okay? Pero hindi doon natatapos yung classical conditioning. Next, we have here neutral stimulus, an object or situation, a stimulus, okay, that when presented alone do not lead to an automatic response. Meaning, yung neutral stimulus, it is something na meaningless for the person or for the organism. Okay? Pero eventually, if classical conditioning works, it will become a conditioned stimulus. When we say conditioned stimulus, that is neutral, but since it was paired with the unconditioned stimulus, later on I will show you an illustration, nagkaroon siya ng meaning for you, and when this conditioned stimulus is presented, nagre-respond ka na. Okay, what does that mean? Sige, later, titingnan natin, no? So, yung bell, no, in this case, from neutral, naging conditioned stimulus siya. Right? Ano naman yung conditioned response, no? That's a behavior that an organism learns to perform when presented with a CS. Okay, actually, yung same naman yung response mo, yun naman unconditioned response at conditioned response. Same lang yung salivation. But this time, it's called conditioned response because you are showing that response hindi dahil dun sa meat, but because of the bell. Okay? After conditioning. Alright? So, kaya conditioned response na yung tawag. The conditioning, alright, yung proseso ng conditioning, nag-work siya, kaya kahit wala yung original stimulus, you are now displaying your natural response. But since you're not responding to the original stimulus, we call it conditioned response. Sige, let's illustrate everything. Originally, the meat is presented to the dog. That is the unconditioned stimulus producing an unconditioned response, which is salivation. The bell means nothing to the dog, hence, walang response. But during conditioning, when the bell is paired, okay, doon sa meat, sabay silang pinresent, no? Alam niya na kapag nagbe-bell na, ibig sabihin, papakita na yung karne, no? Kakain na. Natutuwa ngayon siya, I mean, nagsasalivate siya, no? As a response. And dumating sa point na, kahit wala yung meat, marinig lang niya yung bell, nagre-respond na siya. Okay, siguro ilang beses nila ginawa yan. To the point na he learned, no, that the presence of the bell signifies na kakain na rin siya. Okay, kaya nga after conditioning, even without the meat, the presence, no, nung tunog ng bell alone is enough to elicit the response na originally towards sa karne lang. Pero dito, nawala na yung karne, yung bell na. Previously neutral, naging conditioned stimulus. So what is the goal, no, sa classical conditioning? That is to pair the unconditioned stimulus and the conditioned stimulus. Baka ma-confuse kayo sa exam, sa board exam, or whatever. Akala nyo pinipair yung stimulus and response, no? According to the theory, what is being paired here are the two stimuli. The unconditioned, okay, and the conditioned stimulus, which is previously known as neutral stimulus before the conditioning. Okay, another example. Ito naman, this is from the textbook. Early one morning, Bob is in the shower. While he showers, his wife enters the bathroom and flushes the toilet. Scalding hot water suddenly bursts down on Bob. Okay? I'm not saying it's because dun sa pag-flush, no? But maybe he accidentally turned on yung, or baka may sira yung toilet talaga nila, no? Pero, yun naman yung point, no? Nagkasabay yung presentation, no? Pag-flush niya, bigla daw may lumabas na hot water dun sa shower, so napaso si Bob. Okay? The next day, Bob is back for his morning shower, and once again his wife enters the bathroom and flushes the toilet. Panicked by the sound of the toilet flushing, Bob yelps in fear and jumps out of the shower stream. Okay, so what is the unconditioned stimulus here? Is it the flushing of the toilet or is it the hot water? If you are in the situation, what will produce the natural response na mapapaso ka, okay? You will yell in pain, okay? Siyempre, yung hot water. Okay? Kung mapaso ka, that is your response. Pero ngayon, dahil nagkasabay yung presentation, nagkataon na during the time na lumabas yung hot water, nag-flush yung wipe niya sa toilet, okay? Ngayon, napag-pair niya yung dalawang stimulus. Kapag naririnig niya yung flush, akala niya, papapaso na naman siya. Even though we know na hindi naman ganun talaga, it's not logical. Diba? That's not how things work in the shower. Pero kasi, napag-pair niya. In this case, dapat yung flushing, it means nothing to him. Diba? But nagkaroon siya ng meaning because of the pairing. So originally, the flushing is a neutral stimulus na naging conditioned stimulus. Okay, so the unconditioned stimulus is the hot water, while the conditioned stimulus is the flushing of the toilet. Okay, that is classical conditioning applied in this example. Another example is yung mga phobia. The reason why we are, for example, you paired dog with dog bite. Hindi ka naman talaga takot sa dog, but because of the bite, okay, takot ka na ngayon sa dog. What else? Injection, no? Di ba yung mga bata, no, takot sa injection. And the white coat of a doctor, for example, which is why some healthcare workers wear mga damit na hindi color white. Okay? Kasi nga, na-condition yung mga bata that whenever they see white, injection sila, okay, or masasaktan sila kasi because of medical procedures, okay, which is why some healthcare workers wear yung mga damit na mag-elicit ng pleasant memories like mga cartoon characters and so on. Okay? As we near the end of this presentation, here are some other things to consider. Okay, sa classical conditioning, meron tayong tinatawag na stimulus generalization. The tendency of a new stimulus that is similar to the original conditioned stimulus to elicit a response that is similar to the conditioned response. Okay, that's quite wordy, no? But what does that mean? Kapag may nakikita tayong stimulus or object na kamuka, okay, nung original conditioned stimulus, minsan nagre-respond na rin tayo. For example, what if you hear ibang klase ng bell? Kunyari, nasanay yung aso na kapag bell, ibig sabihin kakain na, pero nanonood ka lang pala ng series and then may bell, akala niya lunchtime na. But it's not your bell, it's the bell from yung tunog ng cellphone or ng computer. Ayan. O kaya may nagtitinda ng ice cream, so nagbe-bell. No? Akala ng aso, ibig sabihin lunchtime na. Kasi na-generalize niya. Yun yung stimulus generalization. O kaya minsan kapag kunyari, no? Kapag akala natin nagre-ring yung telepono, but in reality sa TV yun or sa palabas yun. Diba? Yan. Another one is stimulus discrimination. So kabalik na rin siya ni generalization. The process of learning to respond to certain stimuli and not others. Ayan, kunyari, kapag nandun na sa point ng training in which alam mo na yung bell ng amo mo, na kunyari yung sa aso, no? Alam ng aso na yung bell ng amo niya, yung dapat papakinggan niya. Not the bell being rang by other people. Not the bell na galing dun sa ice cream vendor or whatever. Okay, so kapag alam niya, I should respond to this but not to this one, that is stimulus discrimination. Okay, he responds to the voice of yung amo niya, yung owner niya, but not to other people's voice. Ayan. What about extinction? The weakening of the conditioned response when the unconditioned stimulus is absent. For example, nasanay yung dog that every time you ring the bell, nandun na yung pagkain. Pero what if ginagawa mo siya pero palaging walang pagkain? Baka dumating sa point na alam na niya yung ginagawa mo. To the point that he will no longer approach you knowing na kahit may bell, wala namang food. So nagkakaroon ng extinction. Okay? And we also have spontaneous recovery. This happens when we forget, no, the learning. It's been a very long time since the last time we were exposed to the stimulus, no, that we have been trained to respond to. Kunyari, no, sa school, yung mga bell, ganyan. Angelus, for example. Pero graduate ka na. It's been years. And then you went back to school and heard the same bell, no, the same prayer kapag lunchtime. And then bigla mong na-recall lahat, di ba? Yan yung spontaneous recovery. The sudden reappearance of an extinguished response. All right, so I hope you learned a lot in this lecture about classical conditioning. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. Just let me know if there are any topics you want me to cover in the next videos. And that's it for today. Thank you very much. See you next time.